everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here taking a look at A.C.E's Cactus. We have a dance practice, a performance version, a music video, and we have a more recent year's equivalence of their dance practice, so I'm excited to take a look at all of it. It's going to be really cool. This is also a Patreon request. Shout out to Lauren for the request. I am very excited to look at this because she recommended this one because she happens to be going to see this group in concert not even a week from the time of me recording this, so I gotta help my girl out and we can appreciate this together. And I'm also gonna probably release this one earlier than other Patreon requests onto YouTube, just so others who may be going to see them soon, you get to take a look at this too. So let's go ahead and check it out. Ooh. Oh, was this one that showed up on a, oh man, it showed up on one of the hardest K-pop choreography lists that I've looked at before. Now, y'all know I view that as like a very subjective term, but I do expect this to have some difficulty to it because of that. Come on, Umbro. This sounds like a pump it up step chart. Ooh. Okay. Bless the knees and the shorts on that. I am looking forward to knowing more of what the lyricism is to see some of these choices, because that's what my gut tells me some of these are intending for. It's that speed change on the end. I'm trying to hear where that's supposed to go, because they're doing it. There's your shuffle, okay. Woof. That is a lot of energy. Goodness gracious. Okay. We got the dance version for the music video. We're gonna watch it, enjoy it. Maybe because the audio's more like in your face here, maybe I can hear where some of these choices are supposed to go. That's what I find fascinating about it. That was cool. It's this red with the stripes on his shirt. I find that it feels like a different concept than some of the other choices. Now I do know they're more low budget for these. I totally understand that. So that's probably why some of these choices may exist, because your stylist, dressing yourself, I don't know. It's the first time we're getting this type of angle, okay. I wish I could wear a bandana like that and it stay in my hair. Mine will always slide down. Those choices reminded me a little bit of that was Kusang, I think, who put those in there. This right here. Ooh, and then you saw a little hit them, folks. That felt very Kusang. Okay, music video over here. Ooh. It's not good that we're trapped, but I like the intrigue of it, though. Oh no, they're like, I can hear there's others, and we're all trapped. He's got a retainer in? Come on. Because I'm a cactus. Whew. He's all sweaty, I guess, in the green room or the, what's it, the greenhouse? am curious as to why we didn't wear green in our... I get it. Because I'm a cactus. Oh my god. It took me watching it 3 times to get it. This is a cactus. Oh my god, I love it. Okay, here we go. This is them. This was, I think when was the first one? Okay, so the first one came out 2017 and this one came out in 2020, so there's like a 3-year difference, but still about 4 years old. And there's a lot of change that can happen in movement quality between, 2017 to 2020 to 2024. So here we go, ready for it. I already like this version a lot more. It feels, there's more breath in it. It's more conversational. It just comes from natural maturity as a mover in general. Yeah. They're making a lot of their choices more accented instead of stiff and sharp. Yeah, notice there's so many accents in play now. Sheesh. How we hit it there is different than the first 3 times I saw it. I used to own those sweatpants, but I don't anymore. Huh. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the best way to go about analyzing this because I really like the comparison here. Normally when in a marathon format, I look at, I just kind of do a courtesy watch if they're more recent times, but because they're not a marathon, it's just a request. I think we may just do a comparison. I think just kind of walk through. I did this with a couple of XO's routines whenever I'd compare XOK and XOM on a dance practice side. So we're gonna give this a shot. Here we go. You could tell with this one, they have that, it does feel rookie angst of physical movement. Like it's very, very sharp in some of their choices. Right? So boom, quite immediately, nice and smooth. I love the twinkling happening from my front guy, which is really nice. They come back in, boom, the piano causes a different shift to take place, speed change when we're building up the energy, boom, little interruption happening through the usage of hinges, usage of other poses and where their head's looking, creates contrast amongst your members. Then they branch it out, boom, there's your tension, we like that, usage of the back for that. He goes, it expands, boom, boom. Notice it's very place, like every position that they're doing, yes, it has not really accents, conversational accents is what I'll call it for this video, but they have a lot of, everything has a place, you know, like we want to, what's the word? It kind of feels like we want to be, it's not a teacher's pet mentality, but it's kind of like we want to do this choreo to a freaking T as not technically correct, not in like the technique style correct, but as technically clean as possible. It's kind of what it was coming across as. So we're not really deviating and showcasing any individuality here. I kind of feel like they're in that stage of we're not quite comfortable with that yet, and that's life. So they goes in, boom, notice he's kind of sitting, he has one of his feet slightly beveled, it goes boom, boom, and this does feel, it matches that robotic, you know, it's blast off, time for space, and then they all come in, boom, really nice chest engagement on that. Okay, now we're gonna watch 3 years later, we're just the same thing, the zoom in is cool, but like they don't have the zoom in here, but it was cool on the 1 mil one. Now, yeah, the da-da-da-da-da-da, more creative choice happening for my guy on the floor. He's still accenting and showcasing it. That everyone's making more of a unified choice, at least in the energy transfer over. Now, some of these changes that we're going to be talking about, we're just going to kind of chalk up to an overview of it could be a multitude of factors as to why the changes have taken place. Whenever you do choreography in different environments, different settings, over a long period of time, as you grow and mature as an artist and as your environments and how you experience dancing in these spaces also grow you end up learning there are certain concessions or there's certain modifications to your choreo that are just going to be better long-term than others. And so I also don't know, are we dealing with an injury for any of these cases? I can't think of anything at the top of my head that anyone's informed me of, but those can be little concessions that are made too. Just like Song Gong with 17, S-Coops is not going to be hopping up on a basket toss anymore because he had an ACL injury, right? So there's going to be those types of modifications to choreo, and rightfully so. And so I would consider this as one of those choices. Instead of everybody making their own abstract choice, everyone's making a more unified choice going from one side. We also have a wave integrated as well, which I really like. Just a single wave through the fingers. Thank you for that. We drop down, boom, boom, and then we create it in. Notice that it does feel more like manipulation of energy versus placing our energy in whatever place the choreographer told us to, right? It feels more, we have ownership of this and I can take control over my own choices. It's kind of what it feels like. It's subtle, but I like it. Notice here, boom, boom. I really like that choice. He comes up, down. Great commitment with the head on that. They come back in right here. Notice how he stands is a little bit different. It's more stoic, more reserved versus I'm right here ready to go full frontal. He's taking a more diagonal approach in his posture as he takes it. Really nice on his choices, nice little finger wave just as well. All of them do a good job on that. Then there, boom. It's not so sharp. It's a boom, more, what is it? The range on it is cut off a little bit shorter there. Boom, they branch it up. And they go in. Dune, he was a little bit more full on that than he was in this version, but I think they're doing a pretty good job so far. If we're looking at the side by side, we're here for it, right? Also, black and white versus colors. I mean, I feel like that was just, this was a planned thing through and through. But anyway, moving on through here, placing all of these arm positions that he's doing, just all placed. The turning, I like that, and it causes everybody to rotate to create, you have some complementary angles happening. Not only are we taking the levels and rotating it, but also the arms are creating, you know, some degree of rotation. It does feel like a cactus arm if you think about it. I would suggest that he has his arm a little bit more linearly to the side, so it feels high, high, mid, and then low, so it connects a little bit more versus two lows, two highs, and it's just because they're really close in spacing compared to my two guys out there, but it could be a camera shot on that. And then the pull through, boom, they all branch away from here. He's doing it, yes, it's the same guy, right? Yeah, they just look so different. Yep, hit. I like the placement on that. It does feel like he has more stiffness in his shoulders on that. And if you notice here, the spacing is a little bit more even. So this choice feels more, just feels more appropriate, right? But also he's taking an overhead shot, he's going underneath with the rotation, he's going over, and then he's undercutting as well. So they're all still establishing their levels, or yeah, of their arm or the angle, but they're all making more individualized choices versus like your default is kind of what it feels like, right? He still has his feature. He does it pretty consistently compared to the old versus the new. Looks fine. He comes up, yep, and we walk through. He kicks through, da-da-da-da, the switch up on that, so we walk. Yeah, DD. I think we were just really close. We couldn't really see the visual behind on that. Arms placed on that. There's your subtlety, little stoicness, stoic or more suave, I guess is another way to put it. We go, we drop down. He does a nice little shoulder to pop everybody up. Ding, ding, ding. It was a triple, so you have your 2 in the back go first, and then you had a single and a single, and he goes accent, 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 just making, no one gets up without any influence from your feature there. So there's that. Yeah, that felt a little, that just felt straight, just we're focusing more on the upper body and not the tension of the full body, but we're focusing on just the shampoo here. Yeah, that was also great, just as clean as it was before, and I like his just looks. They feel very engaged, leaning towards his members. He comes back in, that doo-doo-doo-doon, there's your little reveal, and then he does a little baby snake, my guy right here in the white, and then they go and they drop down, and he picks it up, does a little accent kick coming out of that. Really nice. That right there felt like he was like flicking his hair out of the way. The other one felt more of a committed, you want to see me featured. It kind of felt like that. Confidence, definitely. We could see that throughout the transitions of the choreo in comparison between the two, which is cool. D-D-D-D. Ooh, hold on. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then here, whoops, hold on. That felt, I think that was actually cleaner, and it felt more full, and it could be because of what they're wearing and the formation and how tight they are on that, or they got their range in check. I think camera angle does play a big role on a lot of this. That was really, really nice. There you go. Yep, that little kick through, it was just more of a pickup. Notice the suspension on this one though. Yeah, that was like, he could hold that for 3 to 5 business days is what that felt like. So I loved the strength and stability through that. The other one just felt like a transition, and how you can tell is sometimes you can see more like a press up, and then you see more of like there's like a breath or a hold before, like a tension, you know, like a roller coaster before it descends. It kind of has that type of vibe on what he just did there. But the other one felt more just energies being pushed forward just to get through the people. So that's kind of that's like a subtle what I clocked there. So I like the maturity of his body to where he's able to suspend, or he has the strength to make that artistic choice. It's so subtle, but it definitely makes me feel like I can trust them in this routine, or it gives a sense of reliability, if that makes sense. And I do know with a lot of people, they like to be able to rely upon their artists to follow through or to work hard. And when you're watching an artist in concert, those little details, regardless if they're caught or not, can help you feel reassured that they're not beating themselves to death in the concert, and they are properly, you know, they're healthy in the approach. So that's the kind of stuff that I like to catch. That's cool. Little pull, they go and they snake it down all the way to the other side. He accents out, they're down. So there's a lot of formation shifts happening here. It did feel that we did a little double on the chest. Oh, da-da-da, dun-dun. Now we can kind of see, it does feel like my guy right here is supposed to be doing the same thing as my 2 right here. But he's on a completely opposite foot, but he's supposed to hit the same part of the music. Interesting, huh? Let's see what they do here. That little pop-pop, that felt like, oof, poo, pop off. We're here for it. Okay, so he does make the same choice, but notice his upper body is way more on the same page than what my guys are doing right here compared to how it was before. It was a little too stiff. Da, da, da. He used his head more, but he was supposed to match because you just saw it in the more recent one, so that's cool. So they go and they hit, even though he was intentionally supposed to switch the feet, I think it was just to showcase a different level is what it was coming across as. They go transition, he rotates it through, dun dun, he takes this, he accents on the back of the hands and he rotates it forward. I like the energy of the push on that, looks great. He branches dun 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 dun, and then they take it through. I like the little tension coming from our body roll before we reset to the front, and then it looks like we're about to run, but we're gonna hold off on that because we're going back here. Yeah, boom, da 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 da, and they take it up and back in. And he has a nice little accent moment right there. He branches it through, nice. That felt more like courtesy choreo, like it didn't feel as much of a priority to really accent and hit as a focal point like you saw in the original. Well, it's the same group, right? It's still technically the original, just years difference. So I can kind of see what concessions in their choreo that they have made over the years of which part of the choreo needs to stay a focal point more so than our vocals, and which part does my feature matter more and the choreo is just as an embellishment or an ornament. And that's what we end up seeing there. That's an example of they kind of reprioritize the aggressiveness or the extroversion of their choreo. Still did it, of course, but it does feel a little bit more muted, but it felt intentional in the muted, not they couldn't do it anymore, right? So that's cool. Cool seeing these choices. The runs there. I love the commitment from my guy right here. The reaches are nice. They come back in. They bring that arm up and he takes it. Notice there's subtle tension, and then they finish it out and extending that leg, that inside leg, and they rotate it in with the fun accent with the elbow. So that was cool going here. Yeah, so he still has that nice little prep. Da 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 da. I like the quickness. On the finishing on that is cool. Coming it through. That right there, I do feel like the wind up, there wasn't as much tension on that. Oh, he just presents it versus swings it. So I like the presenting into it. Nice. They come up, they rotate it through. One of my guys right here, I don't think he fully finished the rotation on that. Yeah, present through. They rotate it. Whoom. Of course, the range could be a little bit more refined on that. It also, this could be a side note. My guy right here, it looks like he works out his upper body pretty often. And I know the term's called bulking up, and I know Changben's doing it. I don't know if Bangchan's doing it with Stray Kids, but with Changben, you can notice him, he's bulking up. But the tricky thing about it is the more you bulk up, the less your range, you're more at risk of your range getting restricted, and that can work against you on times like this. So I am curious, is it military? What are we navigating through on this? Is he bulking up? I'm assuming he is working out. But my question is he stretching? Is he maintaining the range? Because some of his movement is coming across more restrictive. It's strong, but it's not as full, which can mess with the synchronicity whenever, if that kind of stuff's not maintained. So that just actually just made me want to know and learn more. It's just fun questions to ask, This is cool. There's your subtlety, ba-da-da-da-da-da, and then we take it through, little body roll out of that, they take it down, we present out, and we drop, it comes up, and then we present over, and I like how they slowly come up. Notice they let the back, or right here near where the spine is, that's controlling where they're being pulled up, not the head. The head is kind of, whenever you pick up the tuft on the back of a cat, right, how their head kind of pushes down, that's kind of what that looks like. It's what we're here for. So he goes and he walks through, he does a little movement through with his hand, causing them all to transition, which is nice, new feature. Yep. Yep. And this part here kind of feels like we set it up, and then we just do like a courtesy wave out. Nice little moment here. Done. And boom, we move. We love it. And how we come up, we're not focusing so much on the pull of the back. It's just, we're just slowly getting up with the speed change. So that's like a subtle dynamic change there. And that's fine. There's right here. Here's your tension. It's okay. He's like patting himself. It's okay. And they're pulling. So there's a lot of these little extra pulls that are happening in some of the choices. I think part of that comes with the discipline of practice and making sure everyone's committing to the same degree. This other one literally just feels like a run through of what they're used to doing. So this is like their implicit run through, which is still pretty clean and not as nitty gritty practice details, because whenever you do something for a long time, you're gonna naturally lose some of these really refined details, especially when you perform live, because you make natural concessions that tailor to you and what you need in the performance, but still maintain the integrity of the piece, which is what we see across the board. So we sacrificed some details, but we actually improved on the maturity of how we carry ourselves in the actual choreo. And I can only imagine how it looks in 2024, right? I think it's kind of cool. So they go and they hit, nice moment, they come back up, the pull pulls. Notice some of them are committing with the head, some are keeping it down, they pull it up, they go, and now we're building up the energy, that boom, boom, and then we rotate it around, connecting of the wrist to give it some form of direction. We don't want it to look too spastic in that motion there. Then they take it, boom, they make it a trace with a twinkling from pinky to the index, then we go swing, swing, present, present, and then he has a nice little angsty moment, and he says, come here, but we're not there yet. We got to go and see what they do here. Running through. That's different, isn't it? That they're not on the ground there. Okay. Now I gotta watch these two again. They are not on the ground for any of that. Yeah, Kinshana. So what did they end up doing instead? Oh, come on, buffer. There you go. So they stay up. So they have to make sure there's more of a bend of the knees there. Oh, come on, internet. We can do better. Here we go. Then they go in and then they run forward. Okay. And so they take this fist moment there. I actually don't mind the change. The change looks cool. I mean, it doesn't showcase your feature as effectively, I think, in just that one moment, but I like the spacing and how it goes from more spaced out and they condense it. I like that choice. That's cool. And then from there, so they come up, the pull pulls, cool. So they probably were able to keep the upper body, no problem. Then instead, okay, I like it. We go and we rotate, so we're not just facing the same direction the whole time, making it like it's not an obvious person in the center and we're creating a circle. They just made different choices. So they rotate to the outside, which I like. The pull. Is it? It looks like they did a different line distribution for that. Now, is it because he's supposed to sing that part, but then I see him mouthing the words? Is that what is he known for that? Because I know as a Han Stray Kids likes to mouth other people's words, so it throws me off when I'm looking at the dance practice. I'm like, whose part is it? Anyway, but I digress because I look for your features. But he's right here, so they're going and they're syncopating it. They're coming up with a vroom, all that. Now this right here, boom, boom, they're doing all of this, but they're keeping more of a midline. That's so interesting. So the upper body, they didn't have to change it all. They just didn't go to the ground. You know me. I personally really want to know how that shift happened. Is it because of an injury? Because that can be a very big indicator of that. Was it we don't, maybe for concerts, just the degree of going low to high was just too much for the fatigue on the placement on the set list, so they made the modifications so they can maintain their stamina more effectively collectively. I don't know any of that. Gosh, this just makes me ask so many questions. I love doing these. Okay. He throws it, hitting it through, and then of course they drop down a little bit lower, but they didn't go all the way down. Yeah, so they kept that. So it's more of a lunge in comparison to a full crouch. So they kind of eliminated the crouching and the choreo. Hitting it through, rotating it around. And they throw, nice on the double on that. And they take it over, and then after they throw, they use the elbow to redirect their movement over from the stage right to stage left. And they double it up into your course here. I like that they opened up the hands here. I don't think they opened them up here. I kept it in a loose fist. I like the fact they opened it up. It felt more conversational. They drop it through, and then they switch up. This is different. So they don't swing. They go da-da-da. They're going on tone. They switch what part of the music they went on. Da-da-da. Ooh, what's happening? So they don't double that anymore. They just singled it. Okay. Boom. Everything has more push and pull. This feels more placed. Right? So everything has this it's not cheer or it's not any like that refined super like there's more Christmas here when it needs to be boom, more push and pull, because that's the type of yearning they're coming across in tone and in lyricism. So having your movement reflect that, you're going to see that here, right? So they didn't really, I mean, it wasn't like a huge change, just the floor work was changed and the upper body stayed the same. Yeah, da-da-dun. So they just go da-da-dun. They go a little bit lower. They hit it through, pulse, pulse, up, down. And they double it up. Now do they do that here? Ah, yeah. So that was pretty consistent. We like that. Okay. From there, na-na-na-na. Yep. So it goes bum, ba-na, and big, subtle, subtle. Nice. Right there on tone. What do we do here? Okay, he had a little bit more, you know, he kind of just set it up a little bit too wide on this particular part. Maybe that's just what he's used to. He's the one singing, so he makes a concession as he sees fit. I would say there's smidgen cleaner in the first version, but very minor. It's not a priority, I don't think, here. They pick it, notice they accent on the back of the palm, and they cause the rotation to allow it to create whatever shape they want, and then they double it up on the other side, which looks super nice. Let's see what they do here. Yeah, let's say range once again for my guy right here with the no sleeves. I do think that some of his flexibility has regressed, and I think it's because of his workout regimen. I could be so wrong, but that's what I'm picking up here. That's just an observation. He's not as flexible as he used to be, because you can tell he doesn't stick out at all in this rehearsal. It's da 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 da. So they doubled it, and then they go single, single. But notice he has way more power in the force of it, so that's cool. Seeing that, hitting it through, boom, 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 boom. Nice with the lift, the separation between the hands on that. They take it over, they throw nice little twinkling in, cool. The dun dun, throw. Yeah, I think I was able to pick up on the details more on this one because they had more breath, more of this heartbeat in terms of separating between the staccato accents and legato movement. They go bum bum bum, so you can see that they're representing that bass a little bit heavier on those subtleties, not subtleties, but just on the transition. And they throw it. Wow, I like that full extension on that. What do we do here? So he doesn't even do it that time. Why not? He don't need to. That's fine. I like it. It does make it different enough too. Yeah, da 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 da. Just kind of feels like we just threw it away. It wasn't as clean. Yeah, da da da. So that's cool. Nothing crazy there. Now here comes this nightmare right here. Yeah, no, there's a timing change that ended up happening. It's the one part that I kept trying to figure out, where the HE double hockey sticks does this part go on? Because there's no sound to justify it. And I just felt like it's just they're using it to kind of create a breather in all of the bum, ba da 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 da. And I would probably have to do that too as a choreographer, because there's so, like, it's such a pulse and it's go, 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 go. And you're going to get bored really quick. And it's just unnecessary energy that they have to sacrifice to maintain attention of it, and it's just kind of hard to keep your attention when you're hitting the same parts of the music the whole time. So that's the production side. So that turns into a little add-on. They go and they rotate it around. Then you have a subtle level change on that. They double it up. It does feel like we're using that tricep to really help create speed on that forearm. They take it through. What do they end up doing on that? It's your most replayed, so they take it out, they take the arm, they rotate it to the side with the body, then they take it through, do-do-do-do, using the lower half and also swinging to create a different range choice, and then they do a torso, then they bring it in, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, so that you can't say that they're not hitting everything. They're hitting, I mean, about 85% of all the sounds, and there's a lot of sounds for one person to hit, and they're definitely doing that, because it's all unison. Hitting it through, ding, 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 ding. So they take it up and they fold it down, little fixed point action coming from the elbows. Then they fold it in little tutting progression going down. Then they swing it from the side. Hit is a little bit of like, not quite scarecrow or puppeting or anything like that. But you could, if you were going to attach a fundamental to it, that would be a good fundamental to create some artistic depth to that particular move. You would see a move kind of along those lines. Then you have the switch up. You have the every other on the levels once again. They do a little march step on this, and you have this do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, that whole thing right there. Whoo, that's just so much. Now, there's this, that right there, that, golly, like, it's still so, dun 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 dun. It's what I think they did this on. That's the only sound that I feel like that move would make sense on, because everything else goes right there on that staccato. But here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. You notice they take up 2 counts with it instead of going dun 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 dun. They're going dun dun. So they're making it through 2 pulses instead of just the 1 on this part. So in overview, I mean, I already kind of talked about the just the movements and progression, the fold downs. Let me do it at 0.75 because I think it did. I always miss something whenever I go full speed, and that just happens. The speed on this is wild. It is so fast. It hit it through, boom. I like the fact that we're looking down on that. I think that was fun. I think it's easier to read here, and it is interesting to say that, especially it's not cleaner, but it is easier to read because it goes back to my previous point of it's not just the same go, 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 and they're doing what the choreographer says, but you can see they've put a little bit of themselves in it, and they're able to still maintain what's going on, but make it work for them. I don't really think they changed anything in it, except for just that subtle timing thing. That right there to the fold over, that was cleaner here, or it was easier to see. That do 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 do, and then we take it, the throw, everyone, their legs, they're still pretty decent for the most part. Let that go, boom. So I think they reset it right there. Okay, so boom. So it's very, very clear on that one, but here it felt like everybody made their own throwing choice, right? Well, no, it's still pretty much the same. Okay, we're playing with it. Love it. The swing through, da 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 da. So I really don't have a lot of, I mean, not much else I could contribute outside of what I've already kind of talked about. So they go hit, and I think the first one's just a place. The second one has a little bit more of a swing to it, and the third one has a full swing on it. So it feels like it's a subtle progression on that. And then your subtlety on the chase, do 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 do. I think my guy right here, in the ball cat. Let me see, hit. Okay, yeah, so he drops lower. It was just hard. It was harder to see that secondary level on this part than before. The hitting it through, nice on the punches, and then we take it over through, and then we reset it over to the side, and then we speed change. He goes boom in the opposition. Whoo, that's a lot. Golly, bless it. That's just go, go, go. Whoops. Yeah, so golly. Okay, and then the pulls are cool. Yeah, all right, moving on from there. So we're here. Yeah, this whole thing right here just feels off to the music, right? You. I wonder if that was going on the you. I think they fixed the timing on all this to make it more readable, and I thank you for that, Ace, because this is boggling my mind on like why are we going off the music? Was that to be like difficult? I think that's like an unnecessary difficulty if that really was a cognitive choice or an intentional choice that the choreographers made on we're gonna intentionally be off count. Why? Like, it's not making it more impressive, it's just making it confusing. And that's just a hot take for me. But it could just be the audio overlay. We may chalk it up to that because it's so freaking minute in the track. Just having your audio slightly off is going to change how all of that comes across. So we can chalk it up to that too. But anyway, so there's your speed change, boom. Notice he had a really crazy like tug and it felt isolated, and then his torso kind of came secondary on that. Yeah, it didn't feel. This one felt more like the whole body was involved. The other one felt more isolated. I think that's more of a preference choice. Comes up. I love the angst of it though. It's a great performance from him here. That was dope. He goes up on the lift, and it looks like he's got airtime on that too, right? Ooh, he does, because everybody assists on that. I think they help aid him. Duh. Where are they holding? Okay, he's up. Like, he's lifted on the ground. It looks like they're grabbing him by the neck, but they're assisting him on the back right here, is what you can notice right there, which is cool. But what do they do here? I didn't really notice it. Oh, he doesn't go off the ground there. He just goes up on his toes. So this That's freaking dope. The airtime on that, they figured out how to do it, is what that looks like. That's cool. So I love this. This is an amazing illusion, for sure. Okay. The pull through, I love that, just a little angsty moment. They go, boom, they're all going toward the inside except for my previous feature. He's looking over towards the direction of our new feature, Mr. Umbro, da-da-da-da. And we go, nice little on the sound that initiates that angle. He's down, he's prepped. You have another complimentary. I'm assuming, yeah, they're doing like not a call and response, but one's hitting, one's hyping, or he's filling in with ad lib. So there's an ad lib going on. Then they go, they expand it out to the side. Da-da-da-da. Cool. He slides through. Love that. Love me a good knee slide, right? So he pulls in. Da-na-na-na-na. Yep, and there, and then we go and we branch away. So here. Yeah, honestly, notice they added, did they add it, or is it just something we're naturally seeing? I like the added breath. I mean, the stillness is fine. It's just a choice. I like the fact that it feels like we're all collectively unified after we did what we did. We're still together, and he gets to have this little conversational one-on-one with us, right? Which is cool. That was dope. They go in, boom, very clear. I would say it's not so sharp in the choice, but it definitely feels like our energy and our direction has changed, and that's your point, is you want people to be directed visually to your feature, which is my guy right here. So he goes, he moves forward. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Cool. Branch it up, they go out. Now he's not going to the ground there either. Huh. He looks up, he takes it, expands it over to the side. So we're not really doing nearly as much floor work in this updated routine compared to the first one. Very intentional on that too. Yeah, all that just felt, we're existing, not doing anything. They're slowly walking to the back. Is that really what they did before? That part down. The pull-throughs were very clear and readable there. I don't think they were readable here, I think is what I'm noticing. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because he prolonged his traffic pattern to get to where he was later. So, but you do see that people are initiated in their transition by these throws, but because they're just kind of standing and vocalizing, as you do when you perform live, you learn what works for you, and being still here is the most effective to the overall performance. Not, I mean, fans don't care that you're just standing there singing. If you're moving like 85% of the time and you're doing the choreo, like, they're not going to care that you didn't go to the ground that one time, right? Or that you made that change. Like, the groundwork isn't the focal point, it just showcased levels, but you can still do that by supplementing it with different dynamics. It still looks interesting, everyone's happy, so that's cool. So they go da 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 da. So it's the same thing that we've kind of already seen already, right? So same build up. I think we're all in a different order though. I think range on the leg, I think it's just slightly different, but once again, doesn't matter. This is cool. This is cool being able to look at these. Yeah, this part just feels very textbook. Like, we have to take this arm out and fully commit to it. The other one just feels like I'm leaning my weight, and whatever my weight wants to decide for me, that's what we're going to go with. One has maturity of choice and freedom of choice and freedom of being content with that choice in the more recent one, which is what I like. I prefer that, honestly. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that still looks good. About the same in dynamic as what they did before, so that's cool. They're down, but yeah, we've gone to the ground here, but that's about the extent of our groundwork at this point. It's the same. It's the same both times. Do they go to the ground here? No. He goes to the ground though, so it's still, so they do the same structure, but they switched up their feature. The feature is not up anymore. He's dropped. That's just as effective as keeping your feature up and everybody else is low. In this case here, everybody's down. They don't all need to be down. So I like the fact that they made the shift there. Same thing. hit, da, da, da. And then look, now we've established variety of levels. With our new branch out, with our guy just dancing or moving subtly, everybody else builds it up very well. So, yep, so this right here, I like the concession that was made. It provided more depth to the formation in that section because it made it look and appear different than the first time. But in this case, it feels like we're doing the same pre-course because they kind of are, even if they're in a different order. So good job on that part. Whoever cleaned that or whoever made the choices, I like that. Yep, and then we go right back into the course again. That made it feel different and build up in a different way. I like it. It's the same as it was before in our V, just like we're seeing here. The camera work on this one is what gives the impression that it feels different because you're looking and observing at a slightly different angle. But that's once again kind of the extent of it. If you're just looking in the isolation of it, he doesn't do it on the first one, but he brings it up. Dun, dun. I think his sweeps are cut off where he actually, or Ranajam, that's cut off, which is why it feels like his range or like his legs are too far out. It's because he's not completing, he's cutting it off halfway. That is something that that's just what he may do, and that's fine. They're allowed to do whatever they want, you know, that's fine. They're there, I'm here, we're living it. The doubling it up, do-do-do, I like the intention of keeping that, thank you for that. Yeah, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I think this one had just, I like the fullness of this one. Double up, single. I think this one was double, right? Yeah, angsty. Yeah, it makes sense for him. He don't have to do anything crazy. Just walk. They all, like, being real, none of them look like these guys here. Isn't that funny? They don't look the same at all. It's cool. Hitting it through. Now, do I think it's like one group's covering the other? No, I felt that way with Billy. I know that's exactly how I felt with that, and I still stand by that. But they feel like the same guys, just more mature in physical movement and probably in physicality. Like, but their faces, I don't recognize them, and so I can't tell who's who. That's crazy to me. Because I'm a cactus. Ugh, are they really a cactus? Cacti. Yep, so all this is the same. The exact same level choices too. Man, Kusang and Leah really did not give them a lot of room to breathe for this part. I find it interesting. I think their point maybe was we're going to show off the fact that they can be in unison for as long as they are with subtle level deviations, which is what you see, but being able to syncopate or hit everything, basically what do you want to hit? Yes, is kind of the epitome of this. And I wonder if that's what they wanted to show off with this group, because also Leah and Kusang are having to meet the demands on whoever's in charge of the group in general, right? So because the company directors are like, hey, this is what we want. And I know with A.C.E.'s case, that was why they picked who they picked in choreographers at that point in time in their earlier eras, where it feels very dated in the virality, because that was the point. They wanted their stuff to go viral, or not A.C.E.'s, but the company did, in order to help, you know, give some social media presence, because it can help with money. I totally get those things. So I'm curious about the conversation of this, why we made the choice of keeping it unison the whole time, because you can add so many dynamic choices to this to make it, you know, to delegate the density and honestly give it more breathing room so we can digest what's actually going on. So, but also the track doesn't really feel that way anyway, so they're meeting the demands of the track, which I understand. Because I'm a cactus, they all make different pose choices, which is fine. That's your add-on, hitting it through. All that. Honestly, I think this hit right there was way cleaner at this point than before. Cactus, ding 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 ding. Cool, that level deviation also was a lot cleaner there. that's so much. And I think they ended up doing all unison for this part instead of doing half the group. So that's what made it look different, but it's so freaking full, you can't tell. Then you have your two. This part feels like Ku Sung Jung, I swear. That, I like how they're sitting at it here. That I like a little bit more than just how the pulsing little, not boxer bounce, but how they were doing it in this one. There's your hit them folks right there, golly. And this is your cactus pose. But this has more, what is it? With just hips, it's just like subtle hips on this. I feel like we're more defined on that. Yeah, boom, boom, we lift, we drop. It just, I feel like the actual like pocket of it looks more natural. That right there, he said boom, boom. He said hip thrust for the fans. Love that. Cactus into a shuffle. That's a house step. Yeah, shuffle from side to side, and then we go and we switch the feet. So we hit it, and notice whenever they establish that leg, they can't put their weight on it because they have to take that same leg and shoot it back. So some people may want to put their weight there, but it's going to make it harder to switch because of the speed. So they did good keeping their weight where it is. So they're kind of having to balance on a lot of these choices even before their leg goes off the ground, right? So they go, and even there, they're just hopping. Their weight is on the same leg the whole time. Bless it. Woo! They hit it through. Boom. Accent, all doing subtly different choices. There's your shuffle. Yeah, right there into just a little hop over. The switches. I like the commitment to the head. It does make it look more full. Yeah, and they kick to finish. They hit, and then notice they all kind of rock in the back and then reset to the front. And that right there is boom, doon, 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 doon. Ooh, so I do actually, which version do I like more? Notice they don't go to the ground. Boom, doon, 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 doon. I think I prefer this ending, honestly, even if, you know, because this one here, it feels like we were, sometimes whenever you're doing choreo, because it's so dense, like sometimes when you're doing a lot of choreo and your musicality, like there are so many sounds, sometimes there's beauty in not hitting every sound because it allows us to breathe or to hear the sound and environmentally like recognize it's there, but not hit every nook and cranny of it. And in this case, because they were so dense on everything leading up to it, hitting this also just feels like it just lumps in with all the other dense movement that we just saw. So yeah, that boom, doon, doon, doon. And not everybody's hitting that same like rebounded, reverbed kind of sound as effective. They're hitting post, 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 post. So it kind of feels superficial to a degree. And then they finish at the end. And then you have your nice little angsty finish. Golly, yeah, that's tiring. But then here, it just definitely feels more, yeah, hitting it through. And that little doon, doon, doon sound, if we're being real, how they kick it, if you kick a door with acoustics in the environment where you're going to hear that door kick travel down the hallway, that sound, by them doing it, sounds closer to that than for them making these rebounded choices because of how the sound drops out. It feels like it's an echo that travels away. So whenever they kick, boom, it sounds like that echo of the established kick goes away. That's probably why I prefer this version versus this. But I do stand by there could be educated guessing here. I know for me, when I'm just saturated, and I see a lot of content a lot, when I'm saturated in density of your content and you're not giving me a chance to breathe and you're kind of suffocating me with content, it's harder for me to appreciate your musicality choices because I don't have time to digest and process what you've been giving me. And then, you know, and you kind of want to avoid that with just your general public and with analysts just in general. So I think that in general, I mean, I'm saying that a lot, my bad. Overall, I like how they are hitting it nowadays, or I'm assuming this is closer to how they're doing it nowadays than earlier on because you see the difference. But I have a feeling they could also be making different modifications even now because their bodies, they've all gone through the military. I don't know if my guy that I keep pointing out, did he just come back from his military service or what? I don't know any of that. And so I'm looking forward to the discussions for this. This was super fun for me because I love seeing differences of the same group doing the same choreo without having to wait through a marathon to see it. It's kind of cool to just get a little snapshot right here. So I enjoy this a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Lauren, as always, for recommending incredible content, and I hope you enjoy your time at the concert. Please tell me all about it whenever you get back. And for anybody else who is planning on going to see Ace in your respective city, I would love to hear the discussions if they end up doing this routine. What is similar, what is different in comparison to the ones that I had just looked at. I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm here for it. I've enjoyed everything I've seen from them so far. I actually really like their newer stuff a lot. It feels more lived in, and it does have that. It's not as clean as what, of course, we're seeing here, but depending on your concept, is really what I think it chalks and boils down to, and the physical demands of like how singable you have to be as a group. I think that's absolutely fine whenever you deviate from synchronicity for the sake of concept. I think that's fine. But all that to say, I really enjoy this. I always look forward to more from Ace and other groups, and I know this will not be the last time I take a look at them. Once again, my name is Jess, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.